too academic. It is too classroom-oriented. I think it has to be more real-world-like. I think that lawyers, well, law students, lawyers should be exposed to real-life situations. Ask, real-life questions. And that's how you really learn what is right and wrong. Right? Again, here, there are many cases, or there are many examples we can get from other countries. This problem of corruption is not common, or is not unique to the Philippines. Other countries have dealt with this problem, and successfully, I might add. So all we need to do, I think, is look for these best practices. We should not just copy blindly. We should know how to adopt these best practices to our own peculiar situation.
Thank you, Chairman Bautista, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no further questions.
Attorney Mejia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Dean Bautista.
Good morning, Professor.
How long have you been with the PCGG, if I may ask, for starters?
Close to 2 years. I started in September 2010.
What makes you think it's now about time to move up to the Supreme Court from your present stint as PCGG's chair?
Well, I was nominated. This was not something that I was, that was part and parcel of my career plans, Professor Mejia. There was a vacancy. I was nominated. I thought twice as to whether to accept the nomination, but I said to myself, why not do it? But as I said, not really to get appointed, but more to try and expose the issues in relation to the state of our judicial system.
One of the questions that I listed is to ask you what you think plagues our judiciary today, and apparently you have addressed that in your presentation. You may have missed out something, that some of the more salient points that will address that question. I'm giving you the opportunity to mention those things which you may have missed out given your limited time.
Thank you very much, Professor Mejia. Well, as I said, you know that the issues relating to congestion of court dockets and delay have been plaguing our legal system since time immemorial and require radical, out-of-the-box solutions. Also, as we try to increase the compensation of our judges, I think we should realize that it is not practicable to fully benchmark the compensation of our judges to that of the private sector. However, the court has the luxury of appealing to the patriotic sense of a lawyer. I remember in college, well, maybe you will, that there was this poster ad that tried to recruit Jesuit novices. And they used the tagline, "Why sell soap? Build people." I was thinking that perhaps the Supreme Court can entice law graduates with a similar tagline, such as, "Why just practice law? Dispense justice." Again, this goes hand in hand, I think, with the overriding need to attract the best and the brightest to join the judiciary. If I may, again, relate to you just one short anecdote. 2 weeks ago, I asked my class of 40 students, I said, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I said, how many of you, potential lawyers, want to be judges? Out of the 40, only 2 raised their hands. And they said, I want to be, sir, but only if Supreme Court. Now, I think this was not how it was during my grandfather's time and my father's time. Being a judge was a position of honor. It was looked upon with great respect. But nowadays, I get the sense, having been teaching law for over 20 years, that that is not anymore the priority of our law students. That they only go to the courts in case they don't make it in practice, which is not how it should be. As I said, for our justice system to work, it must be able to again attract the best and the brightest.
Okay, related to that incident that you just mentioned, Dean Bautista, do you think that the present law school curriculum provides sufficient training to law students who want to pursue a career in the judiciary?
Yes, it does. Although, again, I hasten to add, and now there is a change from the rigid LLB to the more flexible JD, which I think is a step in the right direction. Essentially, the two are the same, except that JD allows a law student to specialize in a practice area earlier on. So, for example, if it is really a law student's dream to be a judge or to be a litigator, he or she can focus the subjects that he or she takes to litigation-related areas. On the other hand, if you want to do corporate law or you want to do tax, then you can take subjects that are related to these areas of specialization. I think this is a step in the right direction. This is similar to what's going on in medicine. So, in terms of the curriculum, I don't think there's anything wrong, although I think we should encourage law schools to be more, to find their niches, to look for their areas of specialization, like what is happening in foreign law schools.
Why should the president appoint someone from the outside? I mean, let me be more specific. There is an apprehension that if someone is appointed from the outside to head the Supreme Court, there will be massive demoralization within the Supreme Court. How will you address that concern?
That's an excellent question, Professor Mejia. I think if you ask me, all things being equal, the next Chief Justice should be an insider rather than an outsider. And why is that? Because again, if you look at other institutions, you would like to convey the message that people can rise up the ranks. And also, you have issues in relation to experience, that somebody who has been there knows the problems and should be able to tackle these problems better. But I must say that this situation we are in is unusual, in the sense that all of a sudden there was a vacancy which was not planned. And as I said, part of the problem, if I may say that the impeachment that happened was not to me just an impeachment of a person, but the impeachment of the entire judicial system. And that is where an outsider might be able to help. He or she may be able to bring a breath of fresh air, a new perspective as to how things can be done. As I said, I think that the Supreme Court should realize that there is a credibility issue that it is facing right now, and that it cannot be just business as usual. We must do ways and means in order to repair that integrity, and I hope that choosing the Chief Justice is the first step towards that improvement.
That's my final question. Good luck, Dean Bautista, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Justice Langman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Dean, is it Dean or Chairman? How do you
Kahit
like
Andy lang po, okay na.
No.
Kasi po minsan, alam nyo, isa pa yun, yung titulo.
Yeah.
Dito sa atin, minsan masyadong hang up yung mga tao sa titulo.
Yes.
Ako, Andy lang
But
po, okay lang.
You cannot avoid the fact that you are the chairman of the PCGG and a dean of a prestigious law school.
Salamat po.
So, I will call you chairman. Okay. Now, I know that you have answered the question of Attorney Cayosa regarding your age. But I feel that I still want to ask you this question. At the age of 48, if you will be appointed as the next Chief Justice, you will be serving the court in that position for 22 years, which would effectively deprive all the incumbent associate justices of ever being considered for promotion to that post. Okay, under that situation, if you will be the Chief Justice, how are you going to lead the court and get the respect, the trust, and confidence of the incumbent associate justice to enable you to lead the court with moral ascendancy? Okay.
Thank you for that question, Justice Lagman.
Yeah.
In fact, that was one of the questions I was really hoping that somebody would ask.
Okay, thank you.
With respect to age, I think that, as we all know, age can be good or bad. And sometimes, and now you can always hear people saying that age is a state of mind. that